our cat people. Dan the Catman here, solo. My co-host Michelle is not on assignment. She's in a play. She's in the Maltese Falcon as we speak. So, what am I? Break a leg, I think is what you're supposed to say, right? Break a leg. But but we're here with very special guests. I have Chloe and Ludvig from the Chloe and sometimes Ludvig channel. Is that what we're calling it right now?
The awkwardly long channel name.
So this is the Shelter Cats podcast. I wish we could shorten it. But we finally got the time zones right. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm so excited. Before I go into my ramble about how I found you guys, what is your kitten's name? I can't remember it.
Findus.
Findus?
Findus. It's a Swedish cartoon cat name.
Okay. Because anytime I see it in like one of your Instagram shorts, you say it so fast.
Oh,
I only got the fin part. But anyway, we'll get to you, Findus, in a little bit. So I found you guys through the YouTube algorithm, quite literally. I helped my friend. My friend has a YouTube channel, Midship Cinema, where he sells basically when old cruise ships get retired and scrapped. He'll try to take all the artwork off of it and the furniture, and he'll sell it to collectors and decorators and stuff like that. So he has a lot of footage from like 80s, 90s, early 2000s of documenting these ships. So I run his social media for his channel, like the old Carnival ships and the original Love Boat. You know, he got all this footage right before they were destroyed of these ships. So that sent me down the rabbit hole of travel YouTube channels, to the point where I think that's like all I watch now is on YouTube. I don't watch any shows. So, you know, Emma Cruise's Cruise with Ben and David, Tips for Travelers, on and on and on and on and on. And then the flight ones like Nonstop Dan and Jeb Brooks and Trek Trendy, Trek Trendy makes me feel bad about my credit limit. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
Like, dude, $100,000. But anyway, so I was watching. Noel Phillips did a 4-day across Australia train thing. This epic, like from one end of Australia to the other. I'd have to sell my lung to be able to do that trip. But at the end of it, it said, you might like Chloe and Ludvig. So my introduction to you guys was you, Chloe, you were on Amtrak in the U.S. going across the country alone.
Yes.
And then you went to New York, and I made my first cheesy comment on your video, and then you went all the way back. What I like about your channel is like the contrast between you two. like Chloe, your boundless enthusiasm, and like you're so excited for every trip you do, and it feels very genuine to me, and I think to a lot of people that comment, it's just you're very excited for every trip you do. Like, I can't believe I'm here. I can't believe I'm in this business class thing. Where to me, some of the channels are like another lounge, another first class seat, another this. You're genuinely excited, and that's contrasted with you, Ludvig, who. Sometimes I can't tell. Do you want to be there? Do you not want to be there?
A bit of both.
You know, so you're like
sure that Chloe's actually this excited about day-to-day things as well. Like,
so that's not just that's really
excited about doing that. And like, you know, just every day getting a coffee in the morning is the most exciting thing that's ever happened, and I'm just like, oh, there you go.
It's just so funny. You're jumping up and down, and you give him the microphone. So what do you think? And you're so deadpan, and I just love the contrast. So with all that out of the way, what made you want to start a YouTube? Do you call yourself a vlogger? A content creator? What do you call yourselves?
Yeah, I guess content creator sounds really, I think I love it sounds very professional. And and I think we've always both loved traveling. Like we met each other whilst doing a ski season in Canada. So we've always just been very adventurous and kind of getting out and seeing the world. And we love traveling so much. And we were doing so many seasonal jobs, working at a summer camp in America to working at a ski resort in Canada, kind of bouncing from one very minimum wage job to the other and traveling in between. And I was just thinking, I don't want to go back to New Zealand and do a regular kind of a full-time job. I just want to keep traveling somehow. And that's when I sort of started to dabble in like ebooks and learning things on YouTube myself about how to become a content creator and make travel your business. And yeah, I kind of just started doing it for fun. It was actually during the pandemic, which is the weirdest time to decide to do a travel YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And we hired a camper van, and drove around New Zealand and made like a 8-part series or something. And yeah, and the videos are, we look back at them now and think, oh, how nostalgic. It's really nice to watch, but we were pretty crappy. Like they were nowhere near as good as they are now. So I think that's what holds a lot of people back in the first place. But I just kind of knew I'm not going to get anywhere unless I try. So yeah, I gave it a shot, and it's kind of snowballed from there. And it's become less of a side hustle and more of just a business, which is incredible.
You can clearly see in the early videos that I do not want to be in there.
Yeah, Ludvig was very, very not keen on the idea of being a YouTuber or being on camera at all. He's like a bit of an introvert in a way, and just kind of okay with just not being the star of the show. And I had to really convince him in the beginning to sort of say, hey, look at this. Like, you love traveling just as much as I do. And if you can get over this little bit of discomfort, like we could really make this our lifestyle, and you'll be really thanking me for putting you on camera in the end. And he slowly like warmed up to it a tiny bit. I've told him not to change his really unemotional deadpan humor, because that's just who he is. But I've just kind of, I think you've got a little bit more confident with being on camera, and I think that's worked really well. And we've kind of come up with this interesting little brand.
Yeah, that's what makes it stand out to me is I can relate to that, Ludwig, because I hate looking at myself on camera. Even now, I'm trying to not look at myself at all.
Yeah.
We only started video with the 3rd season. We were audio only for 2 seasons.
Oh wow!
And I had Emma on 20 episodes ago because she has her cat Hudson. So we got to talk about her cat, and we did audio only, and she was happy. I was happy. So I completely relate to that, because I hate the editing part, because I have to watch my big head, my big Jewish Brooklyn head. So you started during the pandemic, which, like you said, no one was traveling.
Exactly.
So that must have been like the biggest challenge ever, is getting it off the ground at that point, because
Yeah, it was funny because this was the first time we kind of settled. We decided to sort of settle in New Zealand for a while. The pandemic was happening. I couldn't really stay in Sweden for much longer, so Ludvig came to New Zealand. And I just remember going through quite a hard time, didn't I? I was going through a lot of like, not depression, but I was just really, really struggling with being at home and not traveling, because that's all I'd done for so long. And with no one knowing what was happening, I think every single person has gone through such a mental challenge during that time. But I just thought, oh, I cannot accept the fact that I can't launch this travel thing. I really want it to happen. So the second we could travel domestically, I just did it, and we booked a camper van. We just went for it, and it turned out to be the best decision ever, because we got to travel our country with no tourists, and we had everything to ourselves. It was so quiet. There were no lines, and it turned out to be the most perfect way to launch a travel channel, because there was not too many people like kind of looking at Ludwig being on the camera, and there was we had everything to ourselves. There wasn't a big crowd in the places that we were visiting, and it was a blessing in disguise. So the best time to pick up the camera, often the most unexpected things that come around the corner are the best things, in a way. So yeah,
Like me.
like you, yes.
So you both met on a ski trip, you said?
Yes.
Well, we're working a ski season.
Yeah.
And did you say you worked summer camps in the States?
Yes, I worked at Frenchwood Summer Camp in upstate New York.
I went to Kindering in upstate New York for all of the 80s. That's
What's
near.
that?
I went to a camp called Kindering, which is in
Okay.
Hopewell Junction, New York. I have no concept of where that is, but I remember even back then they had a lot of people from Australia and New Zealand as counselors. So I think you
Yes.
said that on your Chloe and Chloe today video on the quantum of the seas. I think
Yes.
when you both said that, I'm like, I spent my 8 weeks of summer in the 80s, upstate New York in summer camp. I didn't have a
Wow.
choice. My parents just sent me off. You're going, go away.
Yeah.
We'll see you. We'll see you in late August. Just get out of here for a while, you know. So
Yeah.
that
Yeah, I did that. I did that for 5 summers. I started when I was 20 years old, and I kept doing it. Yeah, for most of my 20s, and I just fell in love with it. A lot of people kind of just did it as a gap year. A lot of Aussies and Kiwis and people from Europe. But I just got so addicted to working and traveling, and even though it was barely any money, it was just such a fun experience. And yeah, I kind of fell in love with it. And then in between, it worked kind of perfectly because we'd do the summer camp in the summer, and then my friend Chloe and I did the winter season in Canada, and that's when Ludvig was there as well from Sweden. So that was pretty perfect.
so how do you what another thing I like about your channel is you go to a lot of places I've never heard of but want to go to.
Yeah.
There's a lot of the New Zealand, like the quirky little places you stay in. How do you like? Is there like a plan to how you plan out the trips for your channel? Is there like is there kind of a method to how you plan out what you do, or is it what you can and what you can't do? Because I know Ludwig, you have to work, and that's why you're not in some of the videos.
That's why it's sometimes Ludwig. Yeah.
I guess you didn't want to call it Chloe and Ludwig is working channel. I guess that wouldn't sound as good.
Yeah.
So
Um,
is there a way is there kind of a method? Do you have the trips planned out? How does that work?
Well, I have the notes app on my iPhone. Let's just say it's absolutely jam packed. Sometimes I just show Ludwig for fun, and I'll be scrolling for hours, and he can't believe how many things are on my list. And every now and then I'll go through the list and kind of compile it into locations. And maybe I know that I'm going to Australia in March. So I'll go through my bucket lists of all these different things that I've noted throughout the years during my research, and I'll kind of pop it into, okay, that works in that part of Australia. I could do this then. And yeah, I do plan things mega far in advance. Like I've got plans for us 2 years from now that I booked and paid for. So I really love to be extremely planned. Ludwig's more of the spontaneous one, but I'm the planner. So we just do everything I plan. Luckily, he likes all the stuff I book anyway.
Most of it.
Most of it. Yeah, and some things are spontaneous too. Um, and also for what we can afford right now. So we've definitely, obviously, Ludwig works full time. We are making a little bit of money off YouTube now, but it's unfortunately we can't do everything on my list. But those are the kind of things that are going to come in the future. I know it, and yeah, and it's been nice as well. We've been able to sort of partner with brands and things now, which is definitely helping. Yeah, so a little bit of what we can afford. Keeping Ludwig likes to keep my expectations on the ground, so I'm not getting my head
Realistic.
Yeah.
More realistic.
Yeah, more realistic. And yeah, I try to squeeze in as much quirkiness out of each trip as possible and find the weirdest things to do, as well as the more known things too, because they're also cool.
The other question I always wanted to ask while watching these videos, particularly yours, is like the logistics of filming while other people are around, especially on this. You were on this monster ship, Quantum of the Seas. Personally, I like the Norwegian fjord one. I can't pronounce the name. Herta something.
Hertegruten.
I would choose that one if I, you could go on either one. I would choose the smaller one, but I was on a few Royal Caribbeans, and I felt like I was in a shopping mall in Manhattan. But
Yeah.
the logistics of filming without disturbing people is something I'm always curious about. Like, how does that work? Do you have to ask for permission? Is there a lot of planning involved in that?
Yeah, so that's one thing we've always struggled with is because we've seen vloggers or YouTubers kind of on the trips we've been on sometimes, and they'll have these big giant cameras and big microphones with the big fluffy thing, and it's just very in your face, and it's
Yeah.
and I just never wanted to sort of, not that there's anything wrong with that, but I never wanted to put Ludvig, especially like in an awkward position when we're in a big crowded cruise ship. So I think I've always tried to keep our filming equipment to an absolute minimum, which is honestly why I just use my little iPhone here. And
You got
luckily iPhones
the little fuzzy thing I've seen too. The little fuzzy,
yeah, and we've got
little
the
teeny
tiny
microphone.
little Bluetooth mic, and it's so not intimidating. Ludvig feels fine just holding it there, and it doesn't cause a big fuss. And honestly, my mum and I did one of the luxury trains in Australia, and this was my first trip with her on my channel. And she honestly said she had no idea what I was doing the entire time. She said she didn't even think she noticed me working because it was so discreet. Say for like meal times, if I'm sitting with a group of people on a train, I don't want to be sort of like with my camera, so I'll just discreetly kind of film a little bit and then quickly put my phone away because I don't want to be on my phone. I also want to enjoy the moment and enjoy the travel and not just be on my phone. So I think we make a very big effort to kind of be in the moment as well as just capturing the highlights, which has honestly been a very lot of learning curves along the way to actually learn how to do that. But as far as being on a busy cruise ship, we definitely try not to get people in the shot as much as possible. It's very tough when there's a lot of people.
Yeah, I would say.
Yeah, and one thing is I do try to get up really early in the mornings when I'm doing something like a ship tour. Like I'll make sure I get up at 6 a.m. when barely anyone's up. So I'll really work around it to make sure that I'm making it as easy as possible for us to make a good looking travel documentary.
Yeah, and it sounds like it's a lot of the day also. Do you find that you don't have a lot of time to just the two of you chill, not on camera? Do you
not
find that a
really on the
challenge?
trip.
Well, you're you're good at planning the filming, like especially on Hurtigruten when we done that one, we had a schedule like today we're filming this at this time, and then tomorrow we're filming this at this time, and then we have a full day where we're no filming. Like it's good to know that as well for me, so then I can prepare for what we're doing. Like obviously there'll be moments where we just we got to film this and film that, but like if we have a schedule, I think that's a big thing that people don't understand as well when watching the videos. Like it's a full-time job when you are on the trip. Like it's 10 hours a day is just planning ahead, filming, getting the like information and the shots and everything that we need for the video.
Yeah.
And I still don't understand what you're doing half of the time either. So
Yeah. Luckily, it's nice because he's so supportive, and I've learned to kind of, with his sort of shyness about being on camera, I have learned to kind of structure our days so it's most comfortable for Ludvig, like setting a bit of a schedule. So he knows he has the rest of this day to chill out and not be on camera, but at 8 a.m. I need you to be ready and feel confident about going on the camera. We're going to do a ship tour. So yeah, I think probably not one way to do it for everybody who does travel. It's sort of, that's what works for us. But yeah.
Yeah, it's nice that you have each other as like a support system, and to kind of help each other get, because if it's a 10 hours of the day you have to cover, recording this, recording that. I mean, some of it includes you get into bed to go to sleep. I could never do that. I could never do what you do, because I think, positioning the camera, you get into bed, you go to sleep. Okay, turn the camera off and actually go to sleep. I couldn't do that. It's just, I would pull a Ludvig. It's out of my comfort zone for sure.
Yeah. It is so funny when you do shots like that. It's hilarious because you know that the audience knows that you have to get up and turn the camera off. But when I watch travel YouTube, I think it's so cozy seeing the person hop in the bed and turn the lights off. It like rounds out the day, and storytelling aspect. But then I'm always cracking up, and we're having a little giggle at me taking down my tripod, and it's all part of the fun.
It's more like watching a movie if you get those shots as well. Like like you said, the wake up in the morning with the coffee in bed. Like it's more like watching a movie on TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very well done. You do a very good job, and it feels very natural. Is
Yeah.
one one of your videos which you feel is like your breakthrough, that you just, that the trip, the video, it just all worked really well, and you knew that you were on your way to this being like a real thing? Was there one that really stood out for you?
Definitely the
Amtrak,
Amtrak
yeah.
video, because
Because I wasn't in it.
it was it's
Oh,
what he always says, but people absolutely love the
Mhm.
videos with Ludvig. I remember this was like 2 years ago now. I remember we were really like had almost no savings. Ludvig was working very full time, and I came to Ludvig and I said, "Hey, look, I have this big grand plan. I've always wanted to do a cross country trip on Amtrak. I knew he couldn't come, so I already knew it would most likely be alone. And we kind of sat down, and he said, "Look, I just don't think we can afford this. This doesn't look like it's going to really work for our plans. Maybe just set this aside for a year later." Um, and I did take his advice on board, and I kind of thought, yeah, but then I just booked it anyway, and I just said, "Ludvig, trust me. I don't know what it is about this video idea, but I just know it's going to do well." I think it's because I personally love watching sleeper train videos on YouTube. I'm obsessed with it, and so I just wanted to make something that I was obsessed with and just see how it did. And I just knew the topic would do well because all of the Amtrak videos seem to do amazingly on YouTube. And I was like, I just really had to get you to believe in me, and you really, really, really were skeptical.
No, I believe in you.
Oh yeah.
It's just-
But the plan and the
Yeah.
money and just it was a big grand thing to do. Or go off to America by myself. I think it was my first proper trip away from you,
Yeah.
so far away. And luckily, the first couple of days, you know what the algorithm's like. The first couple of days, the little line was kind of hovering and it wasn't really going anywhere. And then all of a sudden it went pew, and just took off. And now it's like 1.4 million people have watched or something like that. And I just doesn't surprise me that it did well because I knew it would, but the amount of people that have viewed it has surprised me. So that was definitely the breakthrough.
yeah, and that was my introduction to your channel.
Yeah.
It's just, you just, you're not from America. You're on an American train. I think Amtrak sucks. I did it. I auto-trained my parents' car to Florida in the 90s. I slept maybe an hour because it was noisy and shrieky and creaky, and people could smoke on the train back then.
Oh,
The whole bathroom was a shower. I don't know. I appreciated the experience, but I thought it sucked. And I think when I see these European trains or the trains you guys go on in New Zealand, or there was that snow holiday train you did last holiday season, it seems like
yeah.
every train anywhere but Amtrak is so much better, and just a much better, more civilized experience. But that was my introduction to you because you just had the time of your life in the little roomette. You had your old laptop, you're editing on it, and you thought it was the greatest thing. And I think that was the appeal, is just how you had the best time doing it. And it was
Yeah.
like your enthusiasm. I think that's, I don't, that's what I think is probably why another big part of it. It's just your enthusiasm and your positivity and
Mhm.
your I can't believe I get to do this attitude is the vibe I pick up from it.
Yeah.
Was there a video that you wish could have been better? Can I ask the opposite question?
Ooh, maybe not one single video, but I have noticed because we used to do a lot of unique stays, like filming. Like I stayed in a giant boot in New Zealand, for example.
I
And
love that one.
weirdly, yeah, you've commented on that one. I've seen it. But our unique stays video, just they never do well. Even we stayed in a cockpit suite in an airplane in Sweden, and yeah, it's
I
barely any
wonder.
views compared to our trains and things. So those weirdly don't do good, but we really enjoy that. So
It's fun.
It's fun for us
doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, but those never do well in the algorithm or the view count or anything. But I can't. Can you think of a particular video?
Nah.
No hurry.
Many videos.
I'm off till Tuesday. No hurry. Is there? I know you said you have the next 32 years of trips planned, or what did you say? 35 years of trips planned.
Yeah.
Probably 35, yeah.
What's the? I get it about the algorithm because my friend Peter, he does some ship reviews, but like more of the quirky ships, like Sea Cloud, like the sailing cruise ships. He doesn't do many of the big monster. He did when Carnival built a new Mardi Gras, he had pieces of the original Mardi Gras, so he was able to lend Carnival some of the woodwork from the first ship. So he did a review of that, but the algorithm drives him batty because videos he thinks will do well don't. But this Love Boat Pacific Princess two-parter did really well because people still remember, I guess, the Love Boat from when I was a kid. What's the? You don't have to answer this. What's the dream trip that you want to do, both together or alone, and for the channel? What's the bucket list trip that you haven't done yet?
Antarctica.
I thought you were going to say your usual one.
Oh. Well, I want to go to space. That's my dream trip.
Well, that has not been on YouTube yet.
Maybe.
She's definitely afraid of heights.
Yeah, that would be scary.
Interesting. I did not know that.
But as far as actual trips that we could potentially go on
more realistic
in this
trips,
lifetime,
yeah.
I would. Oh man, Antarctica is so high, but I feel like that's what every sort of travel content creator would say. It seems like once you've hit a certain level of success on YouTube, you're able to get kind of like a brand deal to go to Antarctica. Like I've seen a lot of people I watch can work with a fancy luxury cruise line and go there because there's no way we'd be able to afford it. It's about waiting for that moment when we can have that kind of a deal. That would be a dream. I would really love to go to Africa and go on some safaris. That would be very cool.
Do the reverse zoo where you're in the cage watching the animals instead of watching the animals in the cage.
Yeah, that would be cool. And one more specific one is I really want to do the Northwest Passage cruise ship. It's from Greenland and goes through the passage above Canada in very, very Arctic waters. That looks amazing. We're a bit obsessed with Arctic stuff. Yeah.
I like the cold.
What were you going to say?
Me too.
Oh.
I hate summer. I'm with you. I'm with you, Ludvig. I hate the older I get. I'm 51. I hate humidity. I'm miserable in the summer. I totally sympathize. What's the weather where you are now? Is it warm where you are now?
It's what's after winter? Autumn?
Fall.
Autumn.
Okay.
No, it's not autumn. We're going into winter.
Oh, spring. No, autumn.
No, it is autumn.
It was autumn.
It's autumn.
Okay, so not so bad.
So it's about, it's still hot. Like when I work, we still get 26, 27 degrees. So
it was 80 F here today. So it was like, yesterday was 40, today's 80, tomorrow will be 50. So
wow.
By Monday, we'll all have allergies. It's so now I'd be remiss if we're on a cat podcast. I have to remind myself that I forgot the name of the kitten. So I'm sorry. I'm going to forget. Findus. How did Findus? Have you had cats before, as a couple or as children?
So you grew up with a cat.
I had a cat for between the age of 5 and 23.
Wow.
I had a cat, yeah.
And I, on the other hand, and that's in Sweden, and I've lived in New Zealand. My family have always lived on a farm. So I've had many, probably about 5 cats at any one time. My family is now down to about 4 cats. So we've always had a very, very big cat household. And horses, alpacas, cows, sheep. probably a bunch more, but I've forgotten all the animals.
That's awesome. So how did I forgot again. You're gonna please forgive me. Findus. I'm gonna just put it. I would have to put the name up the whole time. How did Findus? How did Findus get into your lives?
You want to say?
Well, Chloe's cousin runs a, what did you call that? Petting farm, like where you can go visit a farm and you can pet the animals and
Ride the
ponies and feed them and stuff. And one of her neighbors found 2 kittens on the road. Someone abandoned them on the road, and we'd previously told her that if you ever have kittens, let us know. So she called Chloe, and Chloe said, "Yep, we'll take it
immediately.
We'll take it." And it was a little orange boy, and well, we went and visited it, and Chloe just said, "Yep, he's mine."
And the crazy thing is obviously when you do adopt a kitten or buy a kitten, I think, what was the usual kitten age? Did you see?
It's about 8 to 12 weeks, I think.
And we got Findus when he was 5 weeks old. The tiniest little thing, and it just melted our hearts. And yeah, we fell in love.
That's the younger the kitten, the better the kitten will bond with the people. So that's actually
that makes sense. Yeah.
My Mona. I got her when she was 10 weeks old. And if it's like 12 weeks or older, you run the risk of them not bonding with you as well. So the fact that you got Findus, see, I remembered at 5, eventually, the fact that he was only 5 weeks will make him sweeter in the long run because, obviously you Ludvig, when Chloe travels, you're home with, it's just the two of you. So you guys will get to bond with him even better. And orange cats make the sweetest cats.
Yeah, I think we bonded quite a lot in the last 4. Chloe's been away for 4 weeks. 5 weeks. And it's just been me and him every day. So we've been spending a lot of time together. And the funny thing is, when we started talking about getting a kitten, I said, yeah, I definitely want a cat, but absolutely not an orange cat. I refuse to get an orange cat. And we ended up with an orange cat.
May I ask why you did not want an orange cat?
Because Chloe's parents have an orange cat, and she's a B word.
You can curse on this show.
Little stuck up little.
Really?
I've just not had good experiences with orange cats. He still shows that orange cat behavior, but he's nice.
See, there's mine.
Oh, there it is. Yep.
Oh.
This is Vance. He's going to show you his butt. I'm so sorry. He's going to knock over the microphone. Dude.
That's a big dude.
Oh, it's huge.
Dude. So this is Vance. He was in a colony by JFK Airport. I'm so sorry. Dude.
Oh, there it is. Yep.
Orange boys. You can still hear me, right? He just knocked over the microphone.
Yeah.
Orange boys make the best cats. I can't speak for orange girls, but orange boys are much more laid back. They're a little needy. Maybe. Because he's been in like the last 4 episodes. He's like, I don't want to. What are you doing? I don't care. So he doesn't care that I'm recording. Does having Findus, does that affect your? Do you have any questions for them? Does having Findus, does that affect the travel at all? Does that affect the scheduling?
For you, not so much.
Yeah. I think one of the reasons why we said yes to having a cat as well is because I do so many solo trips, and I knew that Ludvig does get very lonely when I go. We live alone, so he was alone, and now he's got a little friend to talk to. So that's been fantastic. But on the flip side, we are going on a big trip for about 2 or 3 weeks coming up, and we've had to think about a cat sitter, and we've got to think about the logistics of it all now. And Ludvig it's not just a cat to him. It's like you're very, very obsessed with this cat. He wants to make sure that there's someone there to be with him and sleep with him in the bed and not leave him alone at any point of the day. So it's been a challenge to find someone to do that.
Yeah.
If I lived closer, he'd be welcome here.
Yes.
My crew get along reasonably well most of the time. So, no, I understand that. A lot of my plans are like, no, just come over here. I don't want to leave my cats.
Yeah.
Because every time I leave, they think I'm taking them to the vet. Half of them hide, and half of them are like, you know.
It's funny, right now we're in New Zealand, but we're in a different part of New Zealand, just filming a content trip for like 3 nights. Last night, or 2 nights ago, it was his first night away from Findus ever. And he couldn't sleep. Yeah, he could not even sleep.
That was a sad night.
Yeah, usually he sleeps with his arm like this, and Findus is just in a little ball, just lying on him all night long, and they sleep together every night. And yeah, you struggled, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah. So it's affected us in that way too.
I that orange boy will curl up with me the same way every night, and the odd night where he decides to go hang out with his friends in my other rooms, I don't sleep as well.
Yeah.
You just kind of I don't sleep as well. I sleep half as much. I totally understand that. You just get used to. I was saying to Emma, there should be a cruise ship for cats where the balconies are screened off, and you should be able to take your cats with you. Because apparently the only ship you could bring a dog is Queen Mary 2, because they have a kennel on the ship.
Yes.
I have cat hair.
When we got Findus, we just went on a tangent one weekend looking at cat travel, just thinking how funny would it be to do like a series with our cat Findus. And I think we did actually stumble across Cunard and the transatlantic cruise where you can bring your dogs and your cat, but we didn't sort of delve into what that actually meant. I think there was like a space where you can go and play with them, but they weren't allowed in the rest of the ship, obviously. But that would be an awesome video to take our cats across the ocean.
Oh yeah.
There should be. I think it's cat discrimination. If you ask me, there should be ships that allow. There should be ships that allow cats.
Yeah.
I could talk to you guys all day. This has been an absolute blast. Chloe and sometimes Ludvig on YouTube, and on Facebook, Instagram. You have 2 years of trips planned. Please don't ever change you, Chloe, and Ludvig. Don't change a thing. I love the contrast between the two of you. I like even there was that yellow suitcase that looks like a bumblebee that you did this like Audrey Hepburn-y thing for the where we have a lot of followers, but I don't have enough streamers to get ads yet for the show.
Oh yeah.
So we're not at that level. We have a big following, particularly on Spotify, but they're not listening enough for me to get ad stuff.
Yeah.
We're like right at that threshold of but it's like listen more. So that's why that's why we're doing these videos, and some of them have been 2 hours long, so we're trying to kind of change it up. We had one for 2 hours, and I'm the worst editor, so it was just I just put it on and just corrected the captions, and it did reasonably well. Don't ever change a thing. I love you guys. I think you're awesome. I will keep up with my corny comments because you always reply to my see, it's become a game. I sometimes comment before the video's over because I feel like I have to comment like as quickly as possible. Because
I've noticed that.
then I'm like a schmuck. I'm waiting for you to reply to the comment. And I'm like, watch the video. She's gonna think you're just commenting for commenting, but I don't care. You reply to the comments. I love the enthusiasm. I love the jumping up and down, just everything about it. I don't care who watches. I like the quirky New Zealand stuff, like the shoe, and there was that little train that Ludvig you didn't look too happy on recently. I love it. I love it. And good luck with Findus. Get him a friend. Get him a friend at some point soon, which will also help. That will help with traveling, because if they have a buddy, especially when he's young, that will also help
Yeah.
if you guys have to travel, and leave
Yeah.
him alone. So fun fact: get him a buddy
Perfect. We'll definitely do that.
sooner rather than later, and get him a boy buddy, not a girl buddy, and they'll get along better.
Okay.
But Chloe and sometimes Ludvig, thank you both so much for being on the podcast. Go watch their channel on YouTube. They have great videos. How often you post weekly? How often do you post videos?
We're trying for 3 times a month this year. So it's
3 times a month.
pushing ourselves.
So go like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when you get their videos. And thank you both so much. And we'll see everybody in the next episode.
Thanks so much for having us down. It's
Yeah,
so
thank you.
awesome to meet you.